How's it doing, folks? And welcome back to our fourth turn, part two of our Yu-Gi-Oh! Egyptian God card box openings. I'm your host, the Black Viking. Now, the second episode is going to be slightly different than your normal unboxing videos. As you can see, I actually have 24 booster packs of the legendary Duelist Rage of Ra, which is a set that released on the 25th of September of 2020. It mainly featured support for the Egyptian god card Ra, Jinzo, and the Mech Lord archetype. Now, once again, I have here my Egyptian god card Ra, and this is also has some interesting text on it as well, which reads, "Spirits sing of a powerful creature that rules over all that is mystic." Now, I love all the Egyptian god cards. Slifer is definitely my number one because he looks the most dragonic. But I do actually really like Ra as well. He's really cool. Just in terms of like Egyptian mythos and lore in general, because I really like Egyptian like mythology along with Greek and along with Norse mythology as well. um Ra was the god of the sun, and he's like, and I just like his kind of like hawk type head. He looks similar to Horus. That was the one big thing that always confused me, was the difference between Horus and Ra, because they both have ties to the sun. But that's for a totally different story for a different time. But anyway, let's jump right into this set here. So the legendary duelist is a specific type of set, unlike the base sets, like for example, Lightning Overdrive that we covered before, and Blazing Vortex. It's actually a 57 card set, and it features 30 commons, 10 rares, 8 super rares, and 9 ultra rares. And also, the Winged Dragon of Ra specifically can be found as the ever elusive spooky ghost rare. Um, Now, I have 24 packs here, but they're not from one booster box, which means I have no guarantees that I'm going, like, for example, because normally a booster box are guaranteed 2 secret rares. Now, for example, this set doesn't have secret rares, so we can kind of eliminate that. But you're guaranteed so many specific rares. But because I technically, this is as if I went to the store 24 different times and just picked 24 random cards. So we'll see how good my RNG is with these. So let's dive right in. So save. So we'll treat each of these as one side of a box. So let's open the first 12. So let's just do one pack up front, and then we'll get into multiing up on these bad boys. Now, I'm not sure where the rare lies in this, but I'll figure it out with this set, and I'll try and do let's look at all the cards and then get the rare last. So we have Mech Lord Army of Wisel. Then we have Mech Lord Emperor Wisel. The Resolute Mech Lord Army. Ra's Disciple, our first support for Ra himself. And then that's another unique thing, is that this set only has 5 cards per pack, as opposed to regular boosters having 9. I think there's one specific pack that where there's actually 7, but that's not a main set pack, so that's not one of like the 100 card sets either. And then our rare is Makura the Destructor, which reads, it's a Warrior of Dark Effect. If this card is sent from the monster zone to the graveyard, you can activate one trap card from your hand this turn. You can only use this effect of Makura the Destructor once per turn. So that's actually a really decent effect to be able to activate trap cards from the hand. Nice. That's our first rare. So just remember that there are actually rares in this set. So, all right, let's multi up. So we know that the back cards are the ones that are the rares. This is a combination of me going to at least 5 different drugstores of the same chain and basically buying them out. Because finding Yu-Gi-Oh cards in this day and age, in the time that we currently live in, is quite difficult. But I made sure I only bought up to until I got 24, which would be enough comparable to a box to give other people a chance as well. But there are a lot of different places you can actually get Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and some are pretty obscure that people wouldn't know. Now, I always tend to sniff out the obscure places. I'm just like, this store could potentially have Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So, definitely check your local drugstores for sure. Alright, so we got 6 out, so let's start from here. So let's just leave all the rare cards for the end. Of course, I haven't kind of looked at that on accident. So these cards still any different from the other sets. New cards. Okay, awesome. We got the first card that I wanted that was for support for Jinzo, which is Amplifier. Now, if you remember back to the Battle City duel between Joey and Esperoba, Esperoba activated this card on his Jinzo. And it's an equipped spell card, which reads, equipped only to Jinzo. This card's activation and effect cannot be negated. The equipped monsters effect trap cards and their effects on the field cannot be activated. The equipped monsters effect trap cards and their effects on the field cannot be activated. Negate all trap effect on the field becomes your opponent cannot activate trap cards or their effects on the field. Negate all trap effects your opponent controls. When this card leaves the field, destroy the equipped monster. So essentially, Jinzo is an OG floodgate for preventing trap cards. However, it prevents all trap cards from being activated, essentially. So this essentially makes it only a floodgate for your opponent. So that's actually really cool as well. So it's definitely going to add that to that power. That's what I wanted. Oh, there's a Monster Reborn in this set. That's pretty cool. Another Resolute Mech Lord Army. Let's go! The card I wanted. Let's get it, boys. So we got a Jinzo the Machine Menace. I must have put these. So they must not have them all at the back for the rare cards, which is interesting. Or I must have just like messed up. Anyway, so Jinzo the Machine Menace is a level 6 Dark Machine effect monster who is a retrain of the OG Jinzo, whose effect is if a trap is face up on the field, or if a trap is face up on the field or in either graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. Oh, that's kind of dope. And if you do, it becomes level 6 until the end of this turn. During the... Oh, yeah, actually, no. Okay, this one is level 7, not level 6. My bad. I can't remember started from. During the main phase, quick effect, you contribute this card. Special summon one Jinzo from your hand or graveyard. Then you can destroy all traps your opponent controls. If a card is set, reveal it. You can only use each effect of Jinzo the Machine Menace once per turn. Sick. This is one of the cards that I wanted the most out of the set, so I'm so happy that I was able to get it. I've been wanting to open all the Egyptian God-related stuff for a very long time, but I was waiting till I got all of it so that I can open it all at once. So I'm super happy. It will go very nicely with my amplifier there. So we got Holding Arms, Mechlord Army of Steel, Mechlord Astral Mechanical. Yeah, I definitely messed this up. Okay, so we actually got... Now, we saw this in the opening of the Slice of the Sky Dragon structure deck. So this is just an ultra rare version of the true name. So this is the actual, like, the high rarity version of it. At least that I own. So once again, its effect is declare one card name, activate the top card of your deck, and if it is a declared card, add it to your hand. Then you can add to your hand or special summon one divine monster from your deck. Otherwise, send it to the graveyard. You can only activate one the true name per turn. Awesome. Let me just see what I have here. Because. Oh, okay. I know that sometimes in these packs, they, because the rares still exist, they give you a rare and a foil, especially in these kind of like the legendary duelists or these like not necessarily offshoot packs, but not main 100 card series packs. Because I did actually this is right. These actually are all the rare cards. So let me just quickly go through these. So we have Everlasting Alloy, which is actually a card that is replicating the kind of shenanigans that happened when Joey was able to get the effect of Time Wizard off to make his baby dragon a Thousands Dragon, which technically makes all other monsters in the show old and weak. But because Jinzo had futuristic armor that wouldn't rot or rust for 1,000 years, he was actually didn't get the effects. The Time Wizard effects didn't like work on him, which was super shenanigans. But this card is kind of replicating that. So it's called Everlasting Alloy. It's a quick play spell card, which reads: if you control Jinzo, activate one of these effects. All machine monsters you currently control cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects until the end of this turn. Or when a card or effect is activated that targets a machine monster you control, negate that effect. So that's actually really cool. I'm glad I got that too. We got another Macuria the Destructor. We got Cosmos Channeling. As you can see, there's actually a silhouette of Esper Robot on this card as well, so that's kind of cool. So this card reads: you can send one monster you control that is owned by your opponent to the graveyard. Special summon one machine monster from your hand or graveyard. When your opponent draws for their normal draw in their draw phase while you control Jinzo, you can declare one card type, monster, spell, or trap. Your opponent reveals the card they drew, and if it is a declared card type, send the card to the graveyard. And if you do, draw one card. You can only use each effect of Cosmos Channeling once per turn. So the nice thing about this card is it is a continuous spell card, which means so if your opponent wants to get rid of it, so they have to waste resources. But the nice thing about it is that every turn your opponent draws, you're basically going to get information on what's about to go into their hand. Even if you call the card type wrong, they still have to reveal it. So you can either just flat out, if you call right, destroy the card. Even if you call wrong, you know it's in their hand, so you can plan for it as well. So that's actually kind of sick. So then we have that. We have yet another Macuria the Destructor, and then we got a Reactor Slime, and we got an ultra rare version of this in our Slifer the Sky Dragon Structure deck. So that's cool. And then we got Mech Lord Astral the Eradicator. It's a trap, and the effect is target 3 Mech Lord monsters with different names in your graveyard. Add them to your hand or special summon them, ignoring their summoning condition. Oh, sick. Until the end of your next turn, after this card is activated, you cannot special summon monsters except machine monsters. If you control a Mech Lord Astro monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Destroy one synchro monster your opponent controls, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. You can only use each effect of Mech Lord Astro Eradicator once per turn. Nice. So moving back to this, so there could be some surprises in this. So we have Mech Lord Army of Grinnell, another Amplifier, a Reboot, Brain Control, Holding Legs. And if you remember, in the I had a Holding Arms in here earlier as well. In the Battle City finals, or maybe semifinals, or like the top 8, top 4, Joey had a duel against a Shizu, and I believe she used these cards against him as well. So that was really cool too. Another Reboot, Mind Control, Brain Control, Reboot, Brain. So, we got a common Jinzo. This is the classic Jinzo. Now, I remember back in the day, I was like between 10 and 12, and there was a local flea market in our mall, and it was just one of the it's called Penryn Mall. It's probably like the sickest mall. It no longer exists, and I'm so sad. And they had like a Walmart, and I believe some of the first or second wave of tins, and there was a secret word Jinzo. That then this takes me back. So it's a machine effect, and its trap cards and their effects on the field cannot be activated. Negate all trap effects on the field. Classic Jinzo. Now we have another version of Jinzo called Jinzo Return. It's a level 3 machine effect, and its effect is this card can attack directly. When this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one Jinzo in your graveyard. Special summon it, but destroy it during your end phase. Nice. It's a way to kind of get your Jinzo. If someone ends up destroying your Jinzo, you can get it back at least for a turn. And then you can do some crazy things where like you can actually return the Jinzo to your hand, so then you can have a chance to summon it again. Then we have a Mech Lord Fortress, another Jinzo, and a Mech Lord Emperor Seal. So let's multi up on these last 5. We still have another pile of 12 to get through. Now this will probably be the longest of the 3 videos in the 3-part series. But actually, in the comments, let me know what your favorite God card was. Hashtag Slifer Army. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, that's funny. I think so. If you look at Pokemon Go and how they have like the 3 teams based upon Moltres, Articuno, and Zapdos, if they had like a Yu-Gi-Oh Go, I guess you could say, it would definitely be like another 3-team round robin type deal. But it would obviously be Slifer, Raw, and Obelisk. Now, I mean, I guess they kind of did something similar in like the Yu-Gi-Oh GX anime where they had like the 3 houses, which is BS because Obelisk was the top tier and Slifer was the worst. Which no, like that's garbage. Specifically because Jaden or Yuki's Judai in the Japanese. Because just a quick side note, I cannot stand Yu-Gi-Oh GX in English. I have to watch it in Japanese with English subs. Because number one, it's just better. The series is longer and it has way more after the DUEL arc. And the voices are better. The music is amazing. The life point effects. I prefer the life point counter effects in the corner of the screen to the English one. Anyway, that's enough of my rant on. I could rant forever about subs versus dubs for very specific anime, but anyway, I gotta continue with this. So we have our rare cards there. Now I might be in for some surprises because of what happened with that Jinzo the Mechanical Menace card. So let's see if we have any surprises here. Mechlord Emperor Grano. It's a new card we haven't seen yet. Let's go! The surprise! Let's get it, boys! So we got Psychic Bounder, which I believe is a retrain of classic Reflect Bounder. See, honestly, Joey's duels were my favorite. Not just because they always had a gambling aspect to it. Not that I'm like a big gambler, but Joey's probably my favorite character in the baseline, in like the base original like Yu-Gi-Oh series. But his duel against Esperoba, like that card, that spider roulette card does exist, I believe, now in the TGC. Definitely doesn't work like that. But it's funny because when I was a kid and when I was dueling, when we had to resolve effects like that, I actually made like let's just look at, for example, Time Wizard. I actually made like I had like this little like clock like roulette thing. So underneath it, I put like what Time Wizard has on his staff under it, And whenever we would resolve Time Wizard's effect, we would always spin that. And it was actually like the best thing in the world. But anyway. So we have Psychic Bounder. Level 4 Light Machine effect monster, whose effect is if this card is normal special summoned, you can add one Jinzo or one spell or trap card that specifically lists that card in its text from your deck to your hand. When another monster you control is attacked by an opponent's monster, before damage calculation, you can destroy both the attacking monster and this card. You can only use each effect of Psychic Bounder once per turn. I'm so happy. Like, this is like... I don't like get like emotional, but this is like really taking me back to my childhood right now because I remember all these duels, watching all these duels like on the first episode when they came out. It was so good. But anyway, it's a Psychic Bounder. Holding Legs, Army, Fortress, Jinzo Jector, level 4 Dark Machine effect, whose effect is this card's name becomes Jinzo while on the field or in the graveyard. You can tribute this card. Add one Jinzo monster from your deck to your hand, except Jinzo Jector. Then reveal all set cards in your opponent's spell and trap cards. Oh, sick. And if there are any traps among them, you can special summon Jinzo monsters from your hand up to the number of traps revealed. You can only use this effect of Jinzo Jector once per turn. Nice. That's actually a solid card. Like, there are, like, I believe 5 Jinzo cards. There's, like, original Jinzo. There's the new one that we got here, Jinzo, the Mechanical Menace. Then there's Jinzo Lord. Now there's Jinzo Jector. And then there's that old Jinzo. And then I believe, actually, no, there's Jinzo 7, which I believe is an old vanilla monster as well. So that's pretty cool. Another Mechalord Army Weasel. Another classic Jinzo, Grano, Token Sunday. Another Amplifier. Actually, that is a unique card, so let me just read that real quick. So destroy all tokens you control, then destroy cards in the field up to the number of tokens destroyed by this effect. Nice. So this could be... So someone somehow foils... Like, so a lot of the cards that we've gone over in the first part of this 3-bar series and the second part now have been to generate tokens on the field to use as... tribute fodder to summon your god card. So let's say you get foiled out of summoning your god card, like your opponent wipes your hand or something that your god card was in, and you're done. If you happen to pull this card, you can still make use of your tokens by popping them to pop cards on your opponent's side of the field, which is actually really cool. So it's kind of like a last resort type card. Not to be confused with the actual last resort Yu-Gi-Oh card. Other monsters born. Army, Weasel, Injector, Boon of the Merklord Emperor. Ooh, let's get it! Another surprise, super rare. Let's go, boys! So we got Mechlord Assembly, which is a continuous spell card, which reads, when this card is activated, you can add one Mechlord monster from your deck to your hand. You can only activate one Mechlord Assembly per turn. You can only use each of the following effects of Mechlord Assembly once per turn. You can discard one card, and then target one monster you control. Destroy it. If all face-up Mechlord monsters you control are destroyed by battle or card effects, you can target one other face-up spell and trap on the field. Destroy it. Nice, that's really cool. The Mechlords are a really unique machine subtype of card, which is really cool as well. Let's quickly go through these rares, see if there's any surprises in this one as well. So we got another Mechlord Astro the Eradicator, another Everlasting Alloy. We got a Cyber Energy Shock. Now, a lot of the unique monsters in Yu-Gi-Oh! Have their own spell cards for their attack. So, for example, like the Blue Eyes has Burst Stream of Destruction magic card. And then Dark Magician has Dark Magic Attack. Red Eyes has Inferno Fire Blast, and so on and so forth. So this is the one for Jinzo. So it's a quick play spell, which reads, if you control Jinzo, which can be also a card whose name is treated as Jinzo on the field, mind you, target one card in the field, destroy it. Then if it was a trap card, you can apply one of these effects. Negate the effects of one face-up card on the field until the end of this turn. All Jinzo you control gain 800 attack. You can only activate one cyber energy shock per turn. So this could be useful, for example, if someone has like a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon on the field, and you pop this. Now, mind you, have to get around it being able to probably stop this card. But if you were able to do that, you could actually prevent its effect from existing for a turn, and then you could use things like that have, like, for example, if you happen to have no targeting destruction, you could use your targeted destruction cards because since its effect is gone, it can't prevent itself. It can't stop itself from being targetedly destroyed. I know targetedly isn't the word, but it makes sense in this kind of context. Anyway, I'm really happy about that as well. Another everlasting alloy and another cosmos channeling. Sick. On to the next pile. So I'm gonna do a 1, 2, 3, 4, a sixer here, and then another sixer. That's another question I have for you, duelist, is how do you store your cards? Do you have them in a deck box? Do you buy the? Do you sleeve them? Do you not sleeve them? Do you put them in clear sleeves? Do you put them in colored back sleeves? Do you sleeve them and then put them in the 9 set of binder sleeves? You just put them directly into the binder sleeves. How do you order them if you do put them in the binder sleeves? I used to kind of. I have two ways that I do it when I put them in binder sleeves. I either put them, and now what I've been doing recently since I started doing my unboxing videos is that when I put them in the sleeves, in the binder sleeves, I actually put them in their numerical kind of like uh, bin numbers, if so to speak. Like, you know how like all library books have those like not ESPN, or those NSBN numbers, I think they're called. So it's like EN. It's like, so let's say if it was like Legend of Blue Eyes, it'll be like LOB EN dash 000, which I believe was Trihorn Dragon. Um, Now I put them in the order of the number, but then before I started doing this, I would either group them by archetype, or I just put like all like my nice shiny cards together and then put all my comments together, things like that as well. So that's how I kind of mix up my organization. But let me know in the comments how you organize your cards, because I'm interested to see how other people organize their cards. All right, now we'll probably be in for some more surprises here. Wouldn't it be crazy if we pull the ghost? Like if we pull the ghost rare Wind Dragon Raw, I'm done. Like I'm actually gonna run out of the room because that's gonna be sick. All right, so we have our rares there. Let's go through these bad boys. So we have Token Stampede, Mechlord Astro Mechanical. Kind of seeing a lot of these cards now. Let's go! We got Blaze Cannon, which is one of the support cards for Wind Dragon Rock, which is a quick play spell card, which reads, this card is also always treated as a Blaze Accelerator card, which is cool. So I guess if you kind of do well, first of all, amazing artwork. Like Yu-Gi-Oh artwork is just some of the chef's kiss artwork in my opinion. So if you are running like a mixture of, I guess, a God card, Blaze Accelerator type deck, I guess that could work for that, because there are a lot of ways that the Blaze Accelerator, which was the deck that Axel played in Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, who is a black character, which I was super happy about. So I definitely want to eventually make that deck too. So I guess this card can be searched out, but if you happen to put in that deck too, if you want to make a amalgamation of those two kind of decks, so that's an option as well. Once the Wind Dragon of Ra, one Wind Dragon of Ra you control gains the following effects until the end of this turn. This card's activation and effect cannot be mitigated. This card is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. So I guess if your opponent already had an effect in play that would stop spell cards from happening, it cannot stop this card. And then any new cards, because of its first effect, cannot be used to negate the effect of this card either. When an attack is declared involving this card, you can tribute any number of other monsters that did not declare an attack this turn. This card gains attack equal to the tributed monster's combined original attack until the end of this turn. Now, the thing, it's not referring to this card itself, it's referring to the Winged Dragon of Ra that you're applying this card to. After damage calculation, if this card attacked, you can send all monsters your opponent controls to the graveyard. Nice, so it actually has a board wipe effect as well. Sick. That's awesome. That's a really... Like, it's kind of surprising. It's kind of cool, too, because, like, I'm expecting it in the bigger side now, then, because I think these these cards are all going to be rares. So, that's kind of cool. Another Jinzo. Psychic Shockwave, which is another Jinzo support card. When your opponent activates a trap card, discard one spell or trap. Special summon one level 6 Dark Machine monster from your deck. Oh, nice. So this is a way to get out your Jinzo. That's really, really cool as well. Sick. My control. We got Mechlord Nucleus Infinity Core. Nice. Super rare, level 1 machine monster effect. Whose effect is the first time this card will be destroyed by battle each turn, it is not destroyed. You can only use each of the following effects of Mechlord Nucleus Infinity Core once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Mechlord spell or trap from your deck to your hand. If this card is destroyed by card effect, you can special summon one Mechlord Emperor monster from your hand or deck with a different attribute from the monsters you control, ignoring its summoning conditions. Also, for the rest of this turn, you can only declare an attack with one monster. Nice. Probably cool-looking Mechlord archetype. Don't forget any more surprises before this pile is over. So you have Ra's Disciple. Jurigetto, which is one of the Merrick's classic cards. Oh, that's another thing. This set also has a lot of Merrick's cards from Yu-Gi-Oh!, who's also another one of my favorite characters, who was also a dark skin character, which was like really, really cool. And I know that's a big thing these days, is like representation in media. So I really like that Yu-Gi-Oh! Had essentially been doing that kind of from not necessarily day one, but there were people in the show across at least I haven't really watched 5Ds in its entirety or beyond that, but at least in GX, which is my favorite of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Series out there so far, and original Yu-Gi-Oh! They did have characters that were of darker skin, which I super enjoyed that. But anyway, Jurigetto is in a Fiend effect level 4, whose effect is, during the battle step, quick effect. You can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, gain 1,000 life points. You can only use this effect of Jurigetto once per turn. Quick effect, you contribute this card, and then target one face-up monster you control. It gains 1,000 attack until the end of this turn. That's really cool as well. So you can kind of like summon it and then tribute it to give. I guess you can kind of say it's not say it is. It's an honest like effect, which is really cool. That goes here. Then we have our left arm offering, which reads: if you have 2 or more other cards in your hand, banish your entire hand. Add one spell from your deck to your hand. You cannot set spell or trap cards during the turn you activate this card. So this is one of the only cards that can basically search out any magic, like yeah, it can search out any magic card from your deck, but it's essentially like, so if you play this from your, so let's say your hand is 3, so you play this from your hand, so that's -1. So then you have to sacrifice 2 cards. You didn't play this card, so that makes you -3, and then you get 1 card, which is +1. So basically, this card makes you go -2 in card advantage. So, but it does give you any magic card from your deck. So that's kind of like the trade off. That's cool. So let's spring through our rares here. So we got another Cyber Energy Shock, another Cosmos Channeling, another Macuria the Destructor. We got a Wild Monster Appears. If only your opponent controls a monster, special summon from your hand one monster with an original level of 10 or lower that cannot be a normal summon or set, ignoring its summoning conditions. It is unaffected by the effects of your cards except for its own effects and this card's. Also, shuffle it into the deck during your opponent's next end phase. For the rest of this turn, you cannot normal summon, set, or special summon monsters, and your opponent takes no damage. So basically, it's kind of like a way to get out if you have your god cards in your hand, just a quick way to get out your cards if your board is empty. That's kind of interesting. And it's kind of not necessarily making fun of Pokemon per se, but it's just like how you go into like the tall grass and Pokemon appears. I think it's kind of maybe harkening to that. I found that a little bit funny. And then a Mechalord Astro the Eradicator. And then Mound of the Bound Creator, which is another support for the God cards. Which reads, it's a field effect. Level 10 or higher monsters on the field cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. If a level 10 or higher monster destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, the player who controls the destroyed monster takes 1,000 damage. When this card on the field is destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can add one divine monster from your deck to your hand. Nice. That's really cool as well. And then the last of the 6 up. Let's see what we can pull out of these Mad Boys. Hopefully we get that Ghostware Raw. And so far I've been pretty lucky in getting cards that I actually wanted. And that now that I mentioned, I forgot to mention I actually have a checklist of the cards I have to check off as well. So I guess I'll do an after duel report as well, so update you on what I got that I wanted and what I still need to get. And depending on, I'm actually trying to pick up a box of this as well, just to see if my luck is any better in getting a box of this set as opposed to getting individual booster packs of the set as well. For the sake of math, science, and statistics. Also, hashtag stats over calculus. Anyone agree with me there? Can't stand calculus. Alright, so we got a rare, and rare. And we got some surprises in here, I'm sure. Seems like in every group of 6 I get like two supers, two supers or ultras, it seems. That's pretty interesting. Alright, so we can blaze through these because we've seen a lot of these before. Amp, Monster Reborn, Mechalord, Token Stand Q. We got Mechalord Astro Dragon Asterix, one of the Mechalord Archetype monsters. Another Mechalord Emperor Steel. Oh! Let's go! Let's get it! We got the Egyptian God slot. I actually really wanted this. I was so hoping to get this card. Oh, let's go! Okay. So we got an Egyptian God slot, which is an Aqua Fusion effect monster. Requires 1 Aqua monster and 1 level 10 water monster. Its effect is, must first be either fusion summoned or special summoned from your extra deck by tributing 1 level 10 Aqua monster with 0 attack. This card can be treated as 1 or 3 tributes for the tribute summon of a monster. Nice. Cannot be destroyed by battle. Your opponent's monster cannot Your opponent's monsters cannot target for attacks, and your opponent cannot target with card effects any monsters you control except Egyptian God Slime. Yes! I'm so happy I got this card. To be honest, I think I wanted this card more than I wanted the Ghost Rare Raw, so I'm really happy I got this card. That's and it's I think it's supposed to. The card is harkening to the episode where I believe Kaiba was doing someone that used Metal Reflect Slime and then turned it into Obelisk. So that's why this card looks like Obelisk toward the Tormentor. So that's really cool too. Love that. So happy with that. Best surprise ever. Right. So what's our next surprise going to be, I wonder? Another psychic banner. Okay. I was getting hyped there for a second. I was like, we about to pull raw. All right. Chaos Infinity. That's interesting. The Mechlord archetype card, which reads, change as many defense position monsters on the field as possible to face up attack position. Then special summon one Mechlord monster from your deck or graveyard, but its effects are negated. Also, it is destroyed during the end phase. Nice. Reboot. Yeah, it's a Metal Reflect Slime. Special summon this card in the defense position as an effect monster, Aqua Water, level 10, attack 0, defense 3,000. This card is also still a trap. If summoned this way, this card cannot attack. So what is technically supposed to happen is you're supposed to play this card and then fuse it with an Aqua monster to get Egyptian God Slime. I guess that's kind of the combo that they're thinking of. So that's cool. The Amp. Holding Arms, Ra's Disciple, Jinzo Returner, Token Sunday. Alright. And our rares are another Wild Monster Appears, Makira the Destructor, Everlasting Alloy, another Wild Monster Appears. Oh, yes, another card I wanted to get, the Psychic Mega Cyber, which I believe is a retrain of the really nice looking old school card, the Fiend Mega Cyber. This is what, like, when you just go, like, when you, like, get all of, like, the retrains of one type of card, you just have them all in one, you just nicely, like, look at them, it's like, oh, nice, I just like to appreciate the artwork of all these cards and kind of how the monster himself or herself has, like, evolved over the years, because I've been in it since Yu-Gi-Oh! first came out. So I'll probably still be there when Yu-Gi-Oh! Ends, and I'll get to be like, this is usually like all of my like Fiend Mega Cyber cards, or all of my like Blue Eyes cards, or all of my like Red Eyes cards. So I really like that. I love when they do that. So the Psychic Mega Cyber is a level 6 machine effect monster, whose effect is, if your opponent controls more spell or traps than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Psychic Mega Cyber once per turn this way. When this card declares an attack on an opponent's effect monster while you control Jinzo, you contribute this card. Place that opponent's monster face up in their spell and trap zone as a continuous trap. You can only use this effect of Psychic Mega Cyber once per turn. So basically, if you're able to proc this effect, it allows you to remove one of your opponent's spell and trap card zone. So basically, you only have 4 to use, plus the field zone, rather than the full 5. So you can kind of like lock them out of doing something. So basically, if I guess not gonna say a decent example, but you could prevent someone from using Destiny Board for example, if you're able to pull it off before they're able to play it. But I mean, Destiny Board and now in the meta is relatively easy to get rid of, because as soon as you destroy one card, they basically can't do anything else anyway. So there's that. But I'm happy I got that as well. And then last card is another Mechlord Astral the Eradicator. So overall, we got some sick cards. I'm super happy with these in particular. Really happy. I'm really happy we got the Egyptian God Slime. We didn't pull Raw itself or the Ghost Rare, but maybe I will in the future do another video on opening an actual box of the set as opposed to the individual packs, and see if my luck or RNG is better. But once again, thank you, duelists, for joining me. I hope you join me for my part 3 when we go over the obelisk, the tormentor structure that. But until then, see you next time, and believe in the heart of the cards. Have a good day.